bit of a to fix myself. There we go. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Connor.
And my name's Lee.
And we're That's Us and I.
A web series dedicated to showing you the best person, places and businesses in Northern Ireland.
So if you want to be featured in one of our web series, just leave a comment below and we could be coming out to see you.
Today we're in the centre of Belfast, where we're going to be featuring an urban mushroom farm called Hearty Growers.
And we're going to be meeting with Terry. He's going to walk us through the whole process of how he grows his mushrooms, and I can't wait to see it.
So without further ado, let's go.
Hi, I'm Terry from Hearty Growers. So typically once we have mixed our spawn on hardwood ingredients, so the substrate as we call it, that our mushrooms like to feed on, specifically oysters, will be any hardwood. So that gets fed into these bags, and then we introduce the oyster spawn, which sits on sort of millet grain, and then they sort of colonize, as you can see. This would have been brown 2 days ago, and you can see those white spots, so that's where all that spawn has now been mixed, and they start to consume it. And that's a month later. Now that's over incubated, and the fruit is shouting out saying, it's time for me to fruit. But generally, when they're sort of in this range, this is very good. 5th of May. That's mycelium at its best. It's a proper block. It's gone from sawdust to like a super block. So once it sits here roughly for 2 weeks, we then move into the phase 3. So phase 1 in the mushroom world would be mixing, inoculation. Phase 2 would be incubation, and phase 3 would be fruiting. So welcome to stage 3, and this is where the mushrooms are fruited. So far we've looked at the incubation area, phase 2, inoculation, phase 1. What you're seeing here is once the bags have come from the incubation area, we sit them down in series, so we know exactly how to track them. And in about 3 days, they usually pin. Mm-hmm. So this is basically 2 days after it's pinned, and you get to see what they look like. Now these are Indian oysters, as far as the variety of oysters are. We grow about 5 different varieties of oysters at the moment. Over here, what you're seeing is, as far as the interior atmosphere goes, we've got an inlet and an outlet, and the inlet is fresh oxygen. They're just like humans. They're closer to humans than plants are. So they breathe in oxygen and they breathe out carbon dioxide. So through this inlet, we've got fresh oxygen coming through the window at the back, and our mushrooms consume them, they breathe it in, and then they exhale carbon dioxide, which goes out through this side. It sucks it all out. We've then got a humidifier, basically a 100-liter tank of water, and the humidifier's job is to make sure it's always nice and humid inside, just the typical conditions that mushrooms like to grow in.
How much do these things grow in a day?
So they could grow, especially in the last stage, they can grow as much as 25%. So we would have come in today, they would be 25% smaller, and then we know that at the end of the day, before we leave, give it an hour, and it will be time to harvest.
After our tour, we were intrigued on how this business came about and asked Terry to give us the history of how Hearty Growers came to be. This is their story.
Roughly around April last year is when I went on furlough. So I was a cruise holiday travel agent. We've had kids in the last few years, so it's been absolutely vital to strike the right balance with family and work. And this job allowed me to do that. So furlough happened for 9 months, and at that point a friend of mine had just leased the land of Helens Bay Wall Garden to start off a CSA, which is like a community support agriculture system, and he needed loads of help, so it was perfect for me to get out instead of being boxing at home and told what to do. And so it was really nice to go and volunteer, learn a new skill, but just be one with nature. And at in that space, I began to understand what composting is and what soil and blah, blah, blah. We love to eat now, my wife and I. We love fusing our cuisines from different cultures and national backgrounds that we have. And this was like not just cooking the food, but understanding where food comes from, and that just did it for me. I remember taking my camera the first day just to go and see what it was, and he said, "Oh yeah, you can work away, take a few photos." I was down, flat on the ground, kissing Mother Earth, taking photographs, and I just felt that connection that, wow, I'd like to do more here. I started doing some research online, and I stumbled upon videos where you can grow mushrooms at home. We started looking into it, we ordered our supplies, and in about a month's time, we had mushrooms growing. I had a barbecue, friends come over, served them over a barbecue, and the first question they ask is, "What meat is this?" And I look at Judy, she looks at me, and I'm like, wow, could this be it? Could we commercialize this whole experience? And we start doing our research and find out that there were just roughly four growers in Northern Ireland that do exotic and sort of gourmet mushrooms. So the next step was ordering all the equipment, so our kids' spare playroom turned into this proper mushroom operation. All their toys were out, Winnie the Pooh was out, and Mushroom Tent was in.
At this present moment in time, are you serving just the Belfast area, or are you serving the rest of Northern Ireland?
So in the last 4.5 months we've been in business, since Jan. Our online website, so the e-commerce side of things, we're still doing the deliveries, so we're mainly looking after Belfast, Helens Bay, Crawfordsburn at a push. And then we've got product on stores as far as Donaghadee, as far as the belt goes. So we've got like Belfast, Bangor, Donaghadee, and we've got Marshall Howe from Limavady, O'Doherty's Butchers from Enniskillen that have recently started their account with us, and we're in talks with folks from Hales and Newcastle. So we're kind of spreading our wings. We still don't know how transportation works. To our luck, they have transport in place, but that's where we are with the retail side of things. The restaurants are just beginning to open up. So today we had a promotion box going out to Hotel Fitzwilliam. So that's the executive head chef, Dean Butler, that walked in when we had our first harvest. We invited him over to have a look, and he just loved. He says they pay top money for stuff to come from wherever, whether it's Europe or Asia, but by the time it just arrives, in a sorry state, travel for that long.
Yeah.
And he says, if you're able to do this here, like literally a stone throw away, that's Europa and we're here, and it's like not even 10 minutes. I could cycle and drop the mushrooms there, and I would love to do that.
Lastly then, over the next 12 months, obviously you've had immense growth over the pandemic period. Where do you see Hearty Growers in the next 12 months?
So the next 12 months, next 2 months we're moving here, so this space will be, portion of the space will be transformed into our mushroom farm. We'll be operating a whole farming operations out of here. We're hoping to do workshops where we can teach folks how to do it. We're going to do grow kits where we can ship them across the globe. We're also in the process of setting up a dehydrating process, so we dry all our mushrooms, so that way we can cut down on waste to zero. But also there is a whole dried mushroom market. We've been experimenting with mushroom jerky, mushroom crisps. We do our own mushroom pate, like gallons of it. We grow them. I think the most important thing is we want to have a team of 4 to 5 people that we can go together. Currently it's my wife and I, but we don't want to get there alone. We want to take like a whole team with us.
Witnessing Terry's passion about his new venture was something special. We were in absolute awe at what Hearty Growers has achieved over the pandemic, and hearing their stories solidified our belief that Northern Irish business is full of driven and enthusiastic personalities. If you'd like to find out more information on Hearty Growers, all of their links are in the description below. Thank you for watching the first in our That's Us NI series. If you own or know a business that should be featured next, send us a message or drop a comment below. If you liked today's video, make sure to give it the thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see where we go next. Until next time, see you.